This week's Torah portion is called Parashat Tetzaveh, and in it begins with the injunction of Aaron and his sons to be the ones to light the menorah in the newly constructed tabernacle. The oil that was used in the menorah came from olives, and it was the first drop that came after the olive was squeezed. That first drop was pure and not tainted in any way, and that was the oil that was to be used in the menorah, and the menorah was to be kept lit continually. It was a continual, perpetual light. What is this light? And perhaps, say many of our commentators, we are enjoined to be the light. We are a holy nation. We are a nation that is the Or HaGoyim, the light to the nations. And so when we look at the menorah and we see that the olive was squeezed and out came this pure drop of oil that was used in the menorah to light up. And in the tabernacle, which was later the holy temple in Jerusalem, the windows were small on the inside and wide on the outside, illuminating the world. And that is our mission. Our mission is to be the light unto the nations. And it seems that there's a parallel to the squeezing of the olive, that as the olive is squeezed and out comes this first drop, so too we, the Jewish people, are squeezed. We have a lot of suffering in our Jewish history. We have a lot of suffering today. And in that challenge, in that squeeze, what comes out of us? Does out of us come despair? Does out of us come despondency? Does out of us come anger? Or does out of us come a greater desire to live and to love and to be compassionate for others, to put into the world goodness, to be the conduits of light into the world that God wants us to be? Through this squeezing, through the purity of our intentions, through the purity of that first oil. It's interesting to note that the word in Hebrew for oil is shemen, which has the root of shame, name, which is also the allusion, the connection to our soul, which is neshama. So there's a link between the oil and our name and our neshama and our soul, our sense, our essence of who we are. Our soul is a pure, holy breath of God that's breathed into us, and it comes out through our eyes, through our hands is our neshama. Our name is linked to our neshama, and that's linked to the oil. The oil is something that doesn't mix with other fluids. It stays separate. So too, we, the Jewish people, stay separate. So too, like the olive, we are squeezed. So too, hopefully what comes out of us is a pure, refined substance without negative motivations and intentions, without any impurities, without any jealousies, without any anger. And please God, when we're squeezed as we are, what comes out of us is greater sense of love and compassion, that we can light up the world as God wants us to, and that all of this will light up the world in such a way that all of the suffering, all of the death will end speedily in our days.